Hello, how's it going, guys? Sorry that I'm late today. I just got in from the gym and I wanted to take a few minutes to get all my food and my health stuff together because I have learned never to I don't know how to say it, like to ignore my health stuff. So just wanted to take a few minutes for that. But happy to be on here today and excited to talk to you guys and hear about how your healing is going, what happened this week, all of those things. I have a few things to share about what happened with me this week as well. Hi, John. How are you? It's nice to see you on here today. I'm like looking forward to hearing what's going on with you guys. For sure. Anything happening with your apartment this week? I know you're starting to work on that and make progress and stuff. So just wanted to check in. I added a new thing this week. So I've been working out and things have been going pretty well with my health, but every afternoon around like 3 or 4 p.m., I've been getting freezing cold. And I look at the temperature in my condo and it says it's 75, but I feel like it must be 67 degrees. So I was wearing like a sweatsuit and then I put on an additional sweatshirt. So I knew there was something going on because it was like a sort of a crash that was happening every single day. So I spoke to a friend of mine who's pretty knowledgeable and gives me a lot of advice on what to do. And she said it's actually that my minerals are off from how much I'm doing the sauna, from how much magnesium I'm using, and how heavily I'm detoxing. So she said it's actually a sign that my adrenals are having issues and that they need a little bit more support. So she gave me a recipe. She always gives me the best advice and things like that. She gave me a recipe. So this is an adrenal cocktail. Sounds really serious. It's 4 ounces of orange juice, a quarter of a teaspoon of Celtic sea salt, and a quarter of a teaspoon of cream of tartar, which I usually just have used for baking. I think you use it in angel food cakes to thicken the angel food cake. But anyway, this has a lot of potassium. It's got vitamin C and a lot of sodium. So all things that my body needs. So I'm taking this twice a day. And I will say that I'm getting used to it because it's so supportive to my body that I feel like this has been I don't know how to say it. Every time I support my body, it seems to do a little bit more detoxing. So initially, as I'm supporting my body, I usually feel worse. And then I feel better. So I'm pretty tired this week because I have been just detoxing a lot and feeling it. So I haven't been sleeping as well. So if I don't look as good as I hope I look, it's because of that. Anyway, so that's what's going on with me. It's pretty tasty too. Actually, cream of tartar does not taste bad at all. So it's definitely pretty salty. And it's funny because the same friend had told me to put Celtic sea salt into my water. And she said, "Who wants to be first? Poppy. Poppy, want me to brush you? Come on, you can be first today. Come on." So my same friend had told me to put Celtic sea salt into my drinking water so that I would get enough minerals. And it's funny, when I did this drink, I realized, oh, that's why it's not working well enough. I'm not putting enough minerals into my water. So I think it's really important, when your body is doing all these processes, to support it and give it the minerals that it needs. I don't think that my normal stuff before all this happened was quite as intense for my body, but I feel like it's working pretty hard. And it's basically like remaking itself. So it needs a lot of support, a lot of hydration, but also just the right minerals with the hydration. John says, same. Notified landlord on 131. Since then, had them come for inspection for 2/2. She took notes and photos, also had professional inspection this past Saturday, the 5th, 3 air samples. So, and here's the issue with air samples, John, and you may already know this. Air samples are totally useless. And I think people actually do air samples because they don't want to find the problem. So air samples never find mold in the air. You would have to have such an incredible amount of mold to actually find it through air samples. So when you take air samples, you never find the mold. The mold actually rests in dust in your place. So that's why I vacuum once every day with a HEPA vacuum to get as much dust as possible out of my apartment, because it's actually the dust that's the most dangerous for you. And it's when you move around that the dust gets kicked up and it bothers you. So um, I think the issue with having the person do the testing that would be the person that's responsible for the problem, I at least think that that person is just going to find someone to do the testing that will say that there's not a problem. I hate to be a pessimist, but that's how landlords work. They're just there to make money, and I don't think they usually want to fix the problem. Unfortunately, I wish they did, but boy, I sure don't think that they want to. Um, Leslie says, hi, Megan. This is Leslie from Kansas City. Hello, Leslie. It's so nice to have you on today. Thanks for joining. It says, I just found out about you on Friday, and now you're live the following Monday. To me, this is a clear sign that I'm on the right path to self-healing. Leslie, I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're here too. I'm really trying to show up more for these live streams because I feel like I've learned so much, and I just want to be able to bring it to you guys and support you. And I know how alone I felt in this process. So anyway, I love to be here for you to share some of the stuff that I did. I hope that it's helpful. I hope it inspires you. And also, even though, yes, I'm still dealing with it and I have my ups and downs, I'm so much better than I used to be. So always like take it with a grain of salt. Like if I'm having I don't want to say a bad week, but if I'm having an off week, it doesn't mean that I'm, back where I ever was before. It's just like, I think for me, there's usually, as I start a new level of my detox, there's a period where I kind of like bottom out a little bit. And then once my body gets into the groove of it, I would say I'm usually better than I was before I did that. It just takes me a while to get the groove. So hope I give you some hope with this for sure, because you definitely can get better doing the right things. And I talk all the time about microbe formulas, but it's because I didn't really feel like I made progress with, there's so many other kind of like things that people do to get better. And I tried a lot of other things and they didn't work. So I talk a ton about that, but it's because it's what finally helped me to feel like I was getting better, which was awesome. Lori Tyndall says, air sampling did not pick up my mold. Yes, it's really, really unusual for it to pick up mold, Lori. So we actually, my husband and I had hired someone to inspect my mother-in-law's home because she and her husband were really sick. And when I went into their home, I could immediately smell and feel that it was really moldy. So we wanted to fix it because she had pancreatic cancer and he had Parkinson's-like neurological issues. And so it was really hard because I didn't know a person in the area that did, like I have a great mold tester in this area, but I didn't know anybody in Scottsdale because that's not where I'm from. And so we found someone and I said, please do not do air sampling, only do surface samples. And he just did air sampling and he said that it wasn't moldy. And when I tell you it was the moldiest place, like I can go into a place and know it's moldy and feel it. And I'm never wrong because my body just, it tells me. So yes, the air sampling unfortunately just does not work. I wish it did, but that's what everybody does and it doesn't work. John says professional had I can't quite see it. Sorry, my eyes are so bad. Radar, visual, and moisture meter. The attorney suggested this specific company. It's okay. It's family and locally owned. Okay, you did a surface sample. Good too. We did not do a cavity sample. That's awesome. Well, it sounds like you didn't just do air samples, so that's okay. I mean, they did air samples in my apartment and they didn't find any, but it was very moldy. Lori says moisture meter didn't work because it was under my hardwoods. I had to have them start opening up the floor and walls. I'm just so glad that you found it, Lori. That's so awesome that you got to the bottom of it. You should be so proud of yourself for doing that. I know that especially, I think the thing about mold is like, it's really hard because you're doing these things that are really hard when you're not feeling good. So I just want to just recognize how awesome that is that you did that, because obviously you weren't feeling good during that time and you still were, pressing to figure out the root cause of your problem, which is wonderful. Cause I mean, I think like even with me, with what happened, I think I had an idea of what was going on in my apartment, but it was like I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't own up to it. And until my dog died from coming out of remission of his autoimmune, and then my other dogs were all sick, I really just couldn't face the facts and deal with the fact that I had to find a new apartment and do all of these things. So for me, it was, yeah, it was really, I should have owned up to it sooner because my friend who's a doctor had told me that she thought it was mold. And I was like, no, I can't see it. It can't be that. I just had so much trouble believing that something that was invisible, that wasn't like growing on the walls, could possibly be making me sick, but it did. John says, Lori, yeah, that's what my guy calls cavity sample. We don't own this place, so drilling holes in multiple places is kind of a no-go. Lori says, after 8 years and 3 companies, said our house was fine. I think that's also the amazing thing, how many companies you can try to use and they don't necessarily find the mold. So it really, getting to the source of the problem is it's such a tricky thing. If you guys are not following if you're on Instagram, if you're not following the account Mold Finders, I definitely recommend that you follow Mold Finders. They are so good. I love their posts. I'm always learning new things. And I also really like to follow Cheryl Seco. She's the architect that I was telling you about that I've learned so much from about how to spot mold and potential moisture problems in real estate. So we may be selling this place, which means that we would need to find another place, which is always really challenging when you're obviously not able to be in mold. But I think I've learned a lot. So I'll be able to find another safe place, even though this place has been just fabulous and I love it so much. And John's asking, Lori, did you have an idea of where to have them sample below floors, or was that on their insight? And Leslie says, I've been seeing a naturopath for a year now to heal my acne. My hormone levels are off and I've been having trouble with my detoxifying organs. Fungi mold came up on my biometric reading light bulb. Yes. And so Leslie, like, super smart that you're trying to get to the bottom of your acne, because it's never an outside thing. I think a lot of people spend a lot of time thinking that they can fix things by treating the outside, but it's definitely always an inside thing. And just to make it, it even more, I don't even know how to say it, inclusive, it's so many different things. So what I really found, and what is true for, I think, most people that have mold issues and have had toxicity from it, it's never one thing. So it's actually usually that you have to completely unclog your detoxification system. So it's drainage. It's getting rid of parasites, because unfortunately, everybody that was living in mold, sorry, but they have parasites. Heavy metals, getting rid of mold, and getting rid of chemicals. So you tend to accumulate a lot of other stuff. And so getting rid of it is some work, but you'll be amazed. So it's really interesting. Just a fun fact. So I'm going through this new level of detox, and every time I go through a new level of detox, I get little bumps on my face, and it's definitely the toxins are working their way out and irritating me. So I never have bumps right here, but I have bumps here now. I have some bumps right here. They're only temporary, and obviously they will go away. But with every new level that I do, I'll see that come back. And eventually, when I'm done and I'm doing maintenance, I won't have that at all. But it's really, to me, when that happens with these new things that I do, it's always a sign of how much I still have to do. Because I think that for me, it wasn't just that one mold exposure, it was the ones that I had before it that already started to fill up my bucket of toxins and things. But I'm really happy that you're getting to the bottom of it. It's like, it's never really what you want to find out, but at least when you find out that you have something that you can focus on and something that you can fix and make better, I think it's a pretty exciting thing, because it's just so important to start healing your body. John says, I feel like my mold is coming from inside walls. I noticed it by electrical sockets. That's where we did one surface sample. So John, I mean, there's so many different things. Like, I can't remember what floor you live on, but in apartments, there's so many. Sorry, guys, dog hair. Oh, I love when that happens. Sorry, that's so gross, but happens when I'm grooming these little puppies while I multitask. So, you can have water that leaks down from your roof and that can get in the interior walls. You can have water that leaked from an apartment above you, and leaks can travel horizontally. So there's not even always a guarantee that a leak came from right above you, because it could come from above and over. So it's definitely hard to put your finger on where things come from, but certainly you don't get your symptoms if there has to be mold somewhere. We know that for sure. Lori says, I was painting the kitchen and sitting on the floor and my symptoms got extremely bad. So it was all an intuition. Oh my gosh, Lori, that's so funny because so when we moved in here, I knew I had my mold person come in, look at this place before we bought it. And I am realistic, so I know every place is going to have some small problems. It's not, if it has a small problem, I wasn't too concerned about that. But he said, I want you to look at the master bathroom. There's some bubbling on the ceiling, and I think you should open it up after you move in. I think there's a leak in there. And when we first moved in, this place was so expensive that I was like, well, maybe it will be okay. Maybe, I could just use my air filters and things will be fine. So just like you sitting on the floor, when I got on a step ladder to clean the woodwork in the master bathroom, the closer to the ceiling that I got, the more ear pain I started to get. And so I knew that there was something going on there. So I had my company come in, open up the ceiling, and the fan was not venting at all. It was just shooting all the moisture into the ceiling. So there was a bunch of mold. So they opened that up, removed the mold, and then closed it up. And it was so amazing how different I felt after they did that. So same thing. It's funny, you can get a feeling in certain parts of your home. And if you feel worse being close to certain parts of it, I do think you can follow your intuition. And when you become sensitive to it, you're usually right. So that's so cool that you found that. John says, I feel like, John says, Megan, when you rented previously and notified landlord, was there an expectation for them to help you? So John, I thought they would help me. I actually lived in a building. I'll just say whose building it was. It was Related Rentals, which is a super huge chain of apartment buildings. They're in New York, Boston, Chicago. I think they're all over the place. And, before this happened, I thought it was the best building. The people were so nice that worked there. It was really well kept. And so my expectation was like, when I told them that there was mold in my apartment, I thought they were going to feel so bad and apologize and immediately fix it. And, and I gave them the proposal to fix it. And they were like, oh, well, we could put some air filters into your home for a few days. And I was like, no, or in your unit. So they actually, they didn't want to fix it at all. And I think my gut is that they didn't want to admit the liability because there were so many people living in the building, but they were literally like the most terrible, awful people. And actually, I'll just say they even, they wouldn't fix it. And I was like, this is ridiculous. My dog died from this. I'm paying, tens of thousands of medical bills and I have tons of lost income. All I'm asking you for is a $3,000 fix. And they wouldn't do it. So they told me that I could move out early. And then they put it in writing. And then after I moved out early, they told me that I owed the back rent. So that is Related Rentals. They were the worst company. I would never, ever, ever recommend living in one of their places. It looks like a fancy place, but they are slumlords. And it was expensive. I think my apartment was like $4,200 a month for a 1-bedroom. So it wasn't a cheap apartment. But yeah, I was really surprised that they wouldn't fix the problem, and also that they left everybody else in the building to be sick. And I'm sure some people will never figure it out. So people could wind up getting cancer from it. It's a really serious thing that you have to take care of. So yeah, no, they didn't do anything, John. Sorry for the long explanation, but landlords don't do anything basically. Like, it's a waste of time completely to try to get your landlord to fix anything because landlords don't fix mold. I mean, maybe 1 in 100 maybe would, but I would say most people will not, and that's why it's there. Leslie says, I've been in my house for 7 years and I'm just now finding this out. Previous owners didn't disclose flood damage. Oh, I'm sorry, but it's clear now that I'm aware. I just got boxes. Time to start packing. John asked if Leslie's moving. Then he said, Lori, you had the problem remediated in your home, right? And Leslie said, my family has agreed to let me move back in until I can find something. Hopefully it won't be for long. No one ever wants to move back in with their parents. That's so true, but at least you can move there. That's so good, Leslie, and good for you for taking action. Like it's just the best thing. Like get out of there, get yourself safe. That is the most important thing, period. Lori says, Leslie, be careful what you take because you could cross-contaminate. And Leslie says, Lori, that's why I'm here. I need to know what to do with my belongings. I haven't done enough research yet. So I think it really depends, Leslie. I do have a link, and I'm sorry, I still haven't made this video because I am going to make a video about, that's what I should do. I should do that as a video tomorrow, actually, because I think that's a valuable video because I do think a lot of people ask about it. So what I did, I took most of my stuff and I treated it with something called thieves oil and the Edward Close protocol. I've got the links for the different things, including the book on how to do it in my description for this video. And you use oils from Young Living, which actually smell really fabulous. And you basically fog your belongings. And that helps to make it so you can bring things with you. I think everybody has a different comfort zone, or even perhaps it depends on how much mold you were exposed to. But for me, it actually worked really well. And even, I mean, this couch that I'm sitting on was in my old apartment. It doesn't bother me. I know that they say that the very best thing to do is to take your things with you. But I just like couldn't get rid of everything. There was no way. This place alone was so expensive to buy. So there's no way I could have trashed my things. And I think it was okay for me. So I did take my things with me, but I also think, and actually I haven't put that in the links, but I need to link to EC3 because EC3 is a great thing to launder your things with. I did wash like every single thing that I owned. I fogged my apartment, and I didn't just like randomly take things without treating it. So I wouldn't just like pack things up and take them without doing some stuff, or it could feel a lot like you're in your old apartment, even though you're in a new apartment. But like anything that you can wash, I would be washing it with EC3 for sure. I'm so glad that you're getting out of there though. The thieves oil works really, really well. And the book that is in the links below that has the directions on how to do it is so cool. It shows studies showing how well it works. I found it to be really, really effective for me. Thank God, because I have a lot of possessions. I didn't want to throw them all away. John says, I hear you, Megan. I'm on a similar landlord, megacorp. They're not doing anything. I put them on blast on Yelp and Twitter. Yeah, I mean, and that's cool as well, John. I mean, I have to say, it's so funny because the issue is like those corporations are so powerful, right? So you can be totally right. Like I 1000% got sick from my apartment, but it doesn't mean that they can't come and just threaten you or, make your life hell because, oh, excuse my language, but you know what I mean, for saying something, because they can say you're being slanderous or it's defamation or something like that. But I mean, it's just truthful. And I feel like in the end, my building, I'm sure there were a lot of people that probably had miscarriages or got cancer or had different things happen because they lived in there, and they would never know why they got sick. Like those experiences where you're in a situation like that are so bad for you. And obviously the good news is we can turn those around, right? And we can be okay because we are paying attention to it. We're treating it. We're removing it. We're getting ourselves out of it. But that said, it doesn't seem, other than taking the time to sue these people, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of getting sort of like what is right from them. So I was going to sue them, but I just decided that even though that was kind of the right thing to do, I wanted to use my energy for taking care of myself, and I didn't think I could sue them and take care of myself. So I just chose the positive route and decided that I can always make more money, but I only have one physical body and I wanted to take the best care of my physical body I possibly could. The cream of tartar in this drink really goes to the bottom, which is interesting, and the salt. So lots of little things I'm doing to heal my body, that's for sure. Trying to mix it up so it doesn't all go to the bottom. Let me see. John says, use an ozone generator on your belongings. I've heard that some people really like those, and my friend used one of those. Lori says, John, I found the right person, and he has remediated the kitchen, master basement, attic, and the final whole house. Fogging will be in 2 weeks. I am getting rid of as much stuff as I can first. That's so great. Yes, I love to hear that. John says, and this remediation was just fogger or special paint or removing walls and stuff. Lori did it the right way. You had floors and walls removed. That's amazing. And Lori, to maintain, because you always want to keep your house, not moldy, you could do like a once, maybe like once a month quick treatment with the thieves oil, just to keep mold levels low. I do that a lot in my master bathroom. And there's also kind of a funky spot under my kitchen sink that to fix, I would have to rip out the whole kitchen, which we're not planning on doing because I don't know. I can't say it's necessarily moldy. I just feel like they didn't join the counter and the backsplash well. So I just treat it with thieves oil just to be safe. John says, I'm ready for war, lawyering up, just need my test results. That's good, John, if you're ready for war, but I think you got to take care of your body. I mean, to each their own, like only you can decide what to do, but just don't forget to take care of your body too, because lawsuits are involved. And hey, you can do it for sure. And that's great for you because they should pay. I agree. John Smith says, Lori, this must have cost tens of thousands. And Lori says it does, but you know what? Your health is everything and it's totally worth it. John says, Megan, I feel like they stole 2 years of my life. I'm fighting for wrongful eviction, not personal injury. In San Francisco, we have rent control. If I leave, I get the difference between my rent and current rent market price times 3 for as long as I've lived. That's awesome, John. And you should. And I think you'll definitely win that. Lori says, I bought my fogger in Thieves after listening to you last month. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you bought it, Lori. That has been such a helpful, look at this little face. She's so happy just to sit with me. That has been such a helpful part of my getting better. I found out about that from the architect that I worked with that I was telling you guys about, Cheryl Seco. And the first time that I did it, even in the old apartment, so I had it remediated, but it still had some issues. I was still sneezing a lot and I always felt like I was getting a cold. And thanks, John. And then when I did the first fogging, it was so amazing how different I felt being in that apartment. So I love my fogger. I take it with me when I travel. When I go out to Aspen, if my husband's he has a business in Aspen. So if my husband's there and I travel out there, he does it to the apartment that we keep in Aspen before, because it definitely has some issues too. I feel like it's just so common to have issues, but as long as it's been treated really recently, I do fine being out there, which is great. So I love the fogger and it smells just delicious, which is nice. So not only does it work well, but it makes a huge difference. I think in the book it says you need a fogger per 1,000 square feet. So just make sure that you have enough of a fogger to make a difference. But it is so awesome how well it works. And it really helps to reduce those mold levels. Oh my gosh, this little face. It's okay, Poppy. You can just relax. She's my shyest puppy. I've been kind of like running around and working super hard this week. I just got an old YouTube going that I have a fitness YouTube, which I wasn't doing anything with because I was doing fitness competitions and fitness modeling until the mold happened and I got sick from the mold. And so I wasn't doing that. But now that I'm getting my energy back, I'm doing my workouts again. I'm getting my fitness back to where I wanted it to be. So, I got my YouTube going again. So I got my fitness YouTube going and that's fun too. There's like nobody following it. But that's okay. It's fun and creative to do. And I'm excited to get back into my best shape as I get my health back. It feels so, so good. Yes, John, Aspen is so nice. That's actually where my husband and I met. We've been married for 2 years. We met out there 7 years ago. I went out there to ski by myself because I used to be a ski racer, so I'm a pretty good skier. And I met my super cute, nice husband when I was out there. Um, so, John, the diffuser that I have is in the links. I try to link to everything. Like I did a master links list and it is like long. I did it the other day. But it's got all sorts of things. I put like the cleaning products that I like that are safe to use. I put some personal care products that are good to use. And I have I forget the name of it, but the name of the diffuser is in there for sure. John says, yeah, I was a supermodel too before mold. Seriously. No, I don't know if I was a supermodel, but I was in awesome shape and I was super strong. And I am getting that back for sure. I was never a supermodel. I've always just looked as I look, but maybe a little bit better before, but it's coming back. Leslie says, are essential oils safe for pets? No, they are not, Leslie. So actually, it says it in the book with the directions for how to do it, but the essential oils aren't safe for pets or for humans. When you fog these essential oils, they're called hot oil. And so once I thought that I could do it in my living room while I was in my bedroom, and I didn't understand that it was drawing it in through the air vents. And I woke up because I had gone to sleep and was having trouble breathing, and that lasted for like a week. So you do need to leave when you fog your home. And you definitely cannot leave your pets in there. They could definitely get super sick, or I mean, I hate to say it, but they could probably die if you left them in the fogging. Works super well to kill the mold, but I think it could also probably kill your pets. So take your pets out of there. I know that's really hard. That's why it's difficult here. I will say I have jerry rigged it, and like I will sometimes set it up like with the under the sink with the door closed to the sink for like 5 minutes and then turn it off, and I'll have a window open in here so that they're not getting a big shot of essential oils. But beyond that, I don't really do anything with the pets. Like I've definitely also fogged my master bedroom closet, but I close both doors, open the bathroom window, open my bedroom window. So again, it's not all coming out there so that they're just like breathing in the just breathing in all of this stuff. So that's how I do it. So I'm really glad that you asked that, because no, it's not safe for them, which makes it a little bit more complicated, but it works really well. And the other thing too is it does say to do it for 24 hours straight, I think, but you can also be creative. Like I know I have two young female assistants that work for me, and they definitely have a mold problem. So I let them borrow my diffuser. And what they do is they just take their cat out in its stroller for like a 2 or 3 hour walk. And they do that a couple of times a week. So I think it's sometimes just doing what you can do as well. But with your possessions, I would really try to just really hit them with the fogger. And as far as like, just make sure that they're really able to be exposed to it. So if they're packed away in boxes and things, it won't really be able to treat them the same way. So I think they need to come out of the box to really, you want to get that essential oil to really penetrate everything. Yes, John. So for those of you that don't know, I always have links in the description to all my videos. It's kind of hard to see them if you're on your phone. I think you hit a little arrow maybe next to the title and it goes down to the links. But I was just trying to brainstorm the other day and just think about any of the links that would be helpful to people. And just like share. I've learned so many different things about how I clean and all this stuff. And in a way, it seems boring, but then in another sense, it's what made me so much better. So if there's anything that I think is going to help you guys, or any products that will help you guys, I just put them in there. There's a bunch of personal care products I put in there too, because I shop a lot from this site called Earthly. And the more that I've learned as I've gotten better, the more that I've realized that it's really, really important to use very intentional, smart products. For instance, Tylenol is very, very hard on your liver, and it actually depletes something called glutathione. So glutathione is your master antioxidant in your body, which you really need. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of us have trouble detoxing from mold. Our glutathione is depleted or not producing. So basically, like I would never ever take Tylenol because it hurts my glutathione. So I went on Earthly and I got, I haven't linked to those, but I got her pain remedy kit. And it's basically like 3 products, and They work very, very well, but they're all natural. They're not inflammatory and they're not bad for your liver. So I've been really working to switch over to those other things because there's enough of a burden on my liver getting rid of all these toxins. So I just try always to treat it super, super kindly and do my best with it. John says ozone generator, oil diffuser, and mold foggers are no bueno for people, pets, and anything organic. So true. Adrian says, hi, Adrian. How are you? Thanks for joining. Did you do anything to clean your bed mattress? So I will say, Adrian, I brought my mattress with me. I did the thieves oil, diffuser many times. I think that we are most likely going to sell our place here. Perhaps probably by March, we're going to put it on the market, and we're buying a really amazing mold safe solar travel trailer. I don't know if I've shown you guys, but it is the coolest travel trailer. I mean, it's not like what you think of a travel trailer. It has everything. It's mostly metal. So if it leaks, it can go into the basement, you can dry it. It's not ruined. And I think that when we buy our new home, we're probably going to toss our mattress. It has not bothered me. I mean, I think the thieves made it fine, but because we sleep on it so much and because of all my issues, we're going to get rid of it because I think we've had it for about 7 years now. And I do think that that's the one item that I really should have gotten rid of. The other thing that's going to be interesting is, so when we move, have I shown you guys the trailer? Let me know in the comments if I've shown you guys any photos of this trailer that I'm talking about. It's not like a regular trailer that you would think, but I have seen a lot of people as they're recovering move into trailers and things like that. And not exactly doing it because of that, but it will be brand new, but off-gassed. And it's going to be my first time without bringing all my possessions. So it's going to be interesting to see if I feel even better when I leave my possessions behind. We'll obviously be bringing a little bit of stuff, but it's probably like 250 square feet inside. It has the same amount of storage as the actual floor space. So it's going to be really interesting to see how I feel. And if I do feel so much better, it's possible. I've never had a problem with my couch, but we might get rid of it when we buy our new place. Lori says, I like the ozone too. I use it in my condo in Florida every time I go down. That's so good. John says, Adrian, I use ozone on bed mattress and just bomb the whole room with the thing for an hour. Lori says, I tap tested my mattress and it came out clean. So happy I didn't listen to the experts that say to get rid of it. That's so good, Lori. I'm so glad that it came out clean. I mean, I feel really good in my condo. I'm pretty intuitive, and definitely when there's something that bothers me, I usually know right away. I will say that if I don't vacuum every single day, like if I let 3 days go by without vacuuming, I don't feel as well as if I vacuum every day. So I think vacuuming, getting your dust up and things like that is probably the most important thing. In the travel trailer, in the model unit that we're getting, they have the option. It's their demo, so it's totally tricked out with everything that they've ever done to make a trailer really nice. And they were talking about putting in acoustic panels, so having a creative studio in the bedroom. And as soon as I saw the panels, so they absorb sound, which means they're kind of like a material. And my go-to is always that it's better to have things that are cleanable, that don't catch dust. So we have the option of sort of like choosing how we want it to be. And I don't think I'm going to have the tiles because I think they're going to pick up dust. And even though they would have better sound for YouTube, that's really why, like, if you look around my apartment, I have like a tiny rug, but it's a washable rug. So I can wash it. It doesn't collect dust. It doesn't collect mold. I don't keep a lot of like stuff around that can't be laundered. So that's why my apartment's like that. And I think our trailer is probably going to have bad acoustics because I would rather just have like cleanable walls and things. John says, dude, we replaced our mattress, bed frame, flooring in living room, and all furniture in living room. Oh no, and it's still moldy too, right? Sanded, stained, and sealed the other floors. Lori says, Megan, how long have you been on your mold recovery journey? I know everyone is different, but is there an average time frame it takes to recover? So, oh my gosh. And so I'll tell you, Leslie, how long it's been, but also just know a lot of the time. So one, it depends, right? How much you were exposed to, how sick you were. Okay, here's my mold journey. It's actually been, don't let this discourage you. I think it's coming up on 5 years in May is when the flood happened. But what happened was the flood happened. Took me a year and a half to figure out why 2 weeks after the flood, I started getting so sick. So that's a year and a half. So now we're only at 3.5 years. And then what happened was we started looking for places, but it was really hard because there were a lot of moldy places. And initially, my husband and I were going to move out of the city. And then we looked, we had an offer on a house. It wasn't really going that well. They weren't giving us pricing and stuff. And then my husband decided he didn't want to move outside the city. So we spent like 3.5 months on that, let's say. And so then we looked in the city and we were looking, and, that took a long time. And then we had the shutdowns and things like that. So I was stuck in that apartment for a few months because we were having those lockdowns. Right after the lockdowns, we got an accepted offer on this place and moved into this place. So it's been about 2 years. So that's the story of my home. So sorry for that super long story about my home. I did some treatments with my functional doctor. I tried a lot of different things. They helped me. I was better than at my very worst. We did remediation. I have my Beamer mat, which I love. It's a PEMF mat. And I did some different things. I did some bentonite clay. I did some activated charcoal and some CSM and a few other things. And I was better, but not that much better. So I struggled for a while, actually got worse, was really sick this past April. And at that point, so it's sort of like, this is why I make my videos, because I went through all these ups and downs trying to figure out what worked. So I found the company that I'm always linking to in my links called Microbe Formulas. And I started using that in April. And since then it's like when I feel like I started to make my whole change, when I started to get better, address the different layers of stuff that was going on, get rid of gallstones, open up my drainage pathways, really gross, but get rid of parasites, because that was a huge problem that no one told me, that when you have a suppressed immune system, everybody has parasites, but they proliferate when you're at your sickest. So anyway, since April, I've been treated. I am so much better. I'm still doing some things because mold creates this cascade effect in your body. So I'm untangling things and getting better, day by day, but I am exponentially better than I was. I just don't really feel like I truly started getting better until I did the microbe formulas. That's why I feel like a lot of times, and I don't want to tell people what to do, but when they tell me that they're on just like bentonite clay and activated charcoal, I think that there's way better things you can do. I don't think that it can take some stuff out, but it's not opening up your drainage. So a lot of people are so stuck with stones and blockages and bile that's like sludge, and they have to fix that stuff first. So anyway, it is a process, but that's why I share my hacks and my tricks and my things that work better, because I was spinning my wheels for so long trying to find stuff that would make me better. And I feel like, I don't want to say I wasted my time. I try not to think of it as a waste of time, because as long as I can share the stuff that I learned and it helps other people, then it happened for a reason. But I'm getting better so much faster now. The darn cream of tartar in this drink just does not want to mix up. I mean, really. So let's see. I'm going to jump down to one question, and then I'm going to go back up to the questions, because I feel like this really relates to what I was just talking about. Adrian says, how did you get rid of gallstones? I got rid of it. So I got rid of it with the microbe formulas protocol. I was not expecting that. I didn't know I had gallstones. I had zero idea. My friend who was a doctor she knows a lot about this, and she had alluded to the fact that I might have them. And I was, again, she always tells me stuff and I never believe her. Like, I know better. But I got rid of them in the first phase of the microbe formulas drainage protocol. And I believe, I don't know which of the products it was, but there's something in the products that actually softens up the gallstones and helps them to move out of your body. And it made me really tired. It was definitely a lot of work. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I started so I think one thing that I just want to say is that a lot of times people think that when you're getting better, it should just be like this, like you just get better and it's just so smooth. And I really just want to explain, getting better is a lot of times like this. Like it doesn't just go in this upwards, smooth sailing kind of way. So when I started the drainage part of the microbe formulas protocol, I was like, drainage, that sounds so boring. I don't really need that. Why don't I just get into the real stuff? Like, I'm an athlete, I can handle this. I was wrong. So right around, I don't even know, I did the drainage thing for a few months because I could tell that I had some stuff going on, and I would get really, really tired, like so tired that I remember sitting at dinner with my husband at our table over there, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, you look so sad." I had like an Afghan over my shoulder, felt like I could barely sit up. And then I basically the next day got rid of a bunch of gallstones. You could see them. They were like little stones. Spoke to my friend, explained to her what I was seeing. She said, Google these images and see if this is what you're seeing. And so sure enough, it was. And that happened. It happened several times. So it wasn't just like one time. It happened. And then even sometimes a few months later, maybe it would happen again, but just the most happened in that 1 month. And, when I saw that, I realized that that was why I wasn't feeling so much better, that what my functional doctor was putting me on was dealing with some of the stuff. He was removing the stuff, but he wasn't supporting my body to remove the stuff and have a clean pathway for it to leave. And so I didn't realize that things like gallstones are super common for people that have had mold issues. So anyway, so that was how I got rid of them. It was pretty crazy. I had no idea that I had that issue. And it was just kind of funny because I felt like I had done so much, but as I started doing the protocol, I realized that I hadn't really done that much at all. And so the best thing that I did was to do the whole protocol, not to try to like pick and choose products, but just to go through and treat every single, part of my body. Just hopping up to John for a second. John says, unsure if we're going to paint or just cut losses and move, going to go off of the council's direction. John, just move. Honestly, you got to move. I'm sorry. I hate to tell people what to do, but that apartment is not the most healthy for you. Like, I know it's your decision, but it just seems like it hasn't been super healthy for you. John says, Megan, how did you arrive to your sickness being mold? Like, not symptoms, but did you have a functional doctor who said, take this and that? So John, my best friend, is actually a really good doctor. I can't say too much about her because I don't want to infringe on her privacy, but she knows about these things and tried to tell me what was wrong. And I just didn't really know that it was possible. And I didn't believe her. And so she kept pressing me. And when my dog was sick, she kept pressing me. And I don't think that I wanted to know what it was. I know that sounds so terrible, but I didn't know anybody that had this happen to them, and I couldn't imagine it. So she kept pressing me. And finally, when my dog died of his autoimmune, I knew there was something wrong. And then this little girl here, her liver levels were off. When she got her blood tests done, they weren't checking out well. Lola had developed pancreatitis and some neurological issues in the apartment. And I was super sick. I had terrible bloating, terrible GI upset. It's so gross. I had the runs every single day. I just was like, I felt sick every day. I had headaches. I had rosacea, sleeplessness, anxiety, all the stuff that I didn't have before. I felt like I couldn't eat anything. My hormones were going crazy. And so I finally listened to her. She had recommended a functional doctor for me to go to. He tested me. He said it was mold. After we got my tests back, he had me test the apartment. There was mold in the apartment. And he did some things to treat me. and this sounds so bad. He did some things to treat me, but I honestly, as much as I appreciate that he diagnosed me, the treatments that he did were not, in my opinion, thorough enough. Like I'm such a researcher, so I was still trying to find things that worked. And that was how I found the microbe formulas. And it was funny because I did tell my friend about it, not my functional doctor, and she said that's a great company. So that was really how I found it. And I was just using a few of their products at first, and then I just kind of went AWOL, decided not to go back to my doctor and do this. So I'm planning on going back to him in the fall just to get tested to see where all my levels are. But based on how I feel, I know that I'm not constantly, throwing up or not throwing up. I felt like I was going to throw up all the time from how my kidneys were functioning. And I don't have that as well, which is really, really good. John, Beamer mats are not $40,000. Who told you that the Beamer mat is $40,000? You could be thinking about Electrons Plus. Beamer mats are very, very expensive. You're right. I think they're $6,000, and that's a huge, huge expense, obviously. But I use my Beamer mat every single night, and I got it on monthly payments. I'm just going to get another dog so I can keep. I like to brush as I go. Oh, he's laying on his back. Come on, little guy. Come on. We'll just pick up this little dog just like he's so funny. You are such a baby. So it was a really expensive mat, but I use it all the time. It's super expensive. I think the Electrons Plus mat might be like $35,000, but it's not for people to buy. It's for practitioners. So the Beamer is expensive, but it's awesome. There is the higher dose PEMF mat, which I think might be closer to like $600. I doubt it's as good as the Beamer, but it probably still works quite well. I was actually going to see if I could get one to try, because I always like to have different options for things that I can recommend. And I know most people are not going to buy the Beamer mat. For me, I love my Beamer mat. Like when we went on our honeymoon to Hawaii, instead of bringing a carry-on with like bikinis, I brought my Beamer mat because I did not want to be away from it. And when I went to Aspen, I brought my Beamer mat as well. So I love my Beamer mat. I cannot live without it. It's like the best thing ever. Oh, I'm glad this little dog is all comfortable. Yeah, so I'll let you know. I'm going to find out about the higher dose. I'd like to try it to see how it feels different than the Beamer mat, to see if I can recommend it. I do recommend the Beamer mat. It's such a big investment. When I first heard how much it was, I was so sad about it. But if I use it I use mine every single day. So if I use it every single day, I'm so bad at math, guys. But let's just see. So say my mat I've used it already. I think I've had it for, let's say I've had it for three years, right? So it was $6,000. I know that's a lot. And if I used it every single day, let's see, we'll just say 365. Who's good at math? I'm not. 7, we're going to round up. 365, 720 plus, this is terrible. Let's say divided by about 1080, right? Am I right? So it cost me about $5.50 a day so far, because I've had it for all those years. So, I've only had it for 3 years. When I've had it for 5 years, it's barely going to cost me anything. And it does so much. I'm actually friends with the person that sold me. He's actually my husband's golf buddy, and he knows about so much great health stuff. And I was asking him, I was like, Smitty, what can I expect? Like, is my Beamer mat going to die? Like, do they die every certain number of years? And he said he's had his for 7 years and it's never had any problems. And the company is really good about fixing them. So anyway, expensive, but not $40,000, and super, super worth it. And I love it so much. Oh yeah, Adrian. So my master list of my links is in the description. I put it in all the videos. If there's stuff on there that you don't see, always feel free to ask me in the comments. I'm happy to help out with other links. I'm going to be expanding them and doing some other videos, and then I'll do more specific ones. Like I kind of want to do another sauna video. I don't know if I did like the best job when I made my sauna video. So I'll probably do another sauna video of how I do my sauna. But yeah, I've got all my links there. Feel free to ask about anything that you need help with. My biggest things that have helped me would be micro protocol would be number one. My infrared sauna is right up there. I would say it's number two. Leaves oils are amazing. Beamer mat is amazing. I just know not everybody's going to do that, but those are my top things that make a huge difference for me. And then if you have pets, there's a pet protocol as well, because just remember, you're not the only one that gets affected by mold. So if you guys have pets, you could be doing the polypet protocol for them, because you got to get the mold out of their little bodies. My doctor friend pointed out to me, she said people have a bucket of toxins to fill that their body can handle. And she's like, your little Yorkies have a thimble of toxins, so they really can't handle very much. You've got to get it out of their body, and you have to get it out really gently. John says, I plan on buying an oil diffuser and micro formulas. They are both super awesome. I think you'll really like both of them. My biggest advice, at least for what I did, is just go really slow with the micro formulas. The sicker you are, the slower you go. And I don't want to say sicker, because I don't want to, the more at the beginning of your healing process you are, go slower. The more symptoms that you have right now, the slower you go to start. This has definitely been a very humbling experience, in that I was a pretty serious athlete my whole life. And it was like, I can do anything I set my mind to. The only thing that I can't do as fast as I want to is to heal. So I can only heal as fast as my body can go. And the more that I heal, the faster I can do it. So it's like you get momentum, but at first, man, you just want to do so much and get better so fast. And it's slower than you want it to be. And if I miss any of your comments, always feel free to write them again. I know I kind of get lost in talking. So just always, please feel free to tell me if I miss it. Lori says mold plates that you tap on the item you're testing 4 times and the air pushes spores into the plates. Oh, so cool. I've never heard of those. In 5 days, you will know how bad the spore count is. Lori says my naturopath is also an iridologist and has told me that I've got a parasite or an overgrowth on my small intestines. This is all starting to make sense. Yeah. So Leslie, like, I have to tell you, I was just shocked. Like, I really had no idea about the parasites. I just knew that my stomach was not right it was not right for a while, even before the mold. It wasn't as bad as it was, but I could tell I thought it was just IBS. And I will just say that I think more people have parasite problems than they have any idea of, including people that maybe think they're fine, that don't have mold issues. It's a more common thing than you think. And I'm not even embarrassed about it anymore. I'm just glad to be getting those things. I don't seem to have too much of a problem anymore, but there were definitely, they really make themselves comfortable in your body, and they disrupt your body. They take your nutrition, and they burrow. Sorry if it's gross, but they burrow in your organs. So they kind of get into your liver and they burrow in there, and that really messes with your liver. It really messes with how everything is able to work and function. So sometimes I think that having all of this stuff happen is actually a blessing, because perhaps we get to be a little bit more aware of the fact that there is that stuff going on. And as much as in America and, in a lot of places, maybe not just America, we try to act like we don't have those issues. They're very common. And I'm a very, very clean person, but it doesn't mean you can't have that issue. So just know, if you do have that issue, nothing to be embarrassed about. And you'll feel so much better as you get rid of that problem. I don't have any IBS symptoms anymore, and it was really debilitating for like years. So anyway, just want you to know it does get better. Leslie says, I've also done a heavy metal detox and I've taken activated charcoal, but now know it's environmental. Yes. And the thing about heavy metal detox, just to understand, is if you have parasites, they actually store things like heavy metals, toxins, and mold So as you get rid of those parasites, you're also getting rid of more things that you had stored. And that's sort of why you need your drainage system to be working so well, because what you don't want is to kill parasites and have all that stuff released into your body. So you have to make sure that you do your drainage pathways really well before you do that, so they can just leave and not make you sicker. So gross, but it's good. Adrian says, moving out of rental A-frame that's moldy in March. Great. Back into our built out tiny camper, which we should be able to control much easier. Oh, that's so cool. So like, we're kind of going to do a similar thing, Adrian, because we are going to move into hopefully into our little living vehicle. I'll show you guys, just for anybody that hasn't seen, just because I'm really excited about it, but I'll show you guys that haven't seen what it looks like. It is so pretty. It's got like a little balcony and everything. So this is the bedroom. It's got like a little movie screen, and I think that's a reflection, but it's got an all-in-one washer and dryer, which means that it actually, here's another shot. It actually dries fully so that you never have mold. A little, I don't even know how to say it, a little skylight, and it has so much solar so that you can just, you can actually be off grid for 2 weeks. And this is last picture I'll show you. This is the kitchen too. So it's very cheerful and sunny, and it kind of has everything that you need to get on the road and get some fresh air and change your environment a little bit, which I'm super excited about. Adrian says, stoked to hear you're moving into a travel trailer. Yes, it's the best. There's a learning curve for living tiny, but you'll learn to love it and get into a simple groove for sure. And I don't know how long it will be. It might just be for like 6 months or something until we get a home. But I just know that we want to have an adventure to do that. John says, Lori, are these tap test plates, are the little Petri dishes type tests from Home Depot? Feel free to put them in if you guys want to write them in the chat also, feel free to do so. For sure. John says 6,000 isn't bad. I thought they were 40. It's really not, John. And they have a financing program called Bread, which was really easy to get. So it was really, really worth it to me. I love it. Maybe like if you guys are interested in seeing it, I could actually like bring it out here the next time that I do a live and just show you guys what the mat looks like, what the controls look like, and things like that if you would like. Because it's super, super cool. I mean, I know it's a lot, but I don't even care at this point. I just want my stuff to get better. That would definitely be coming with me in my trailer. Lori says, John, the plates from Immunelytics are the best, but same thing. Oh, thanks for sharing that. It says use 350. It's doing a mold summit. Oh, cool. Awesome. Immunelytics is doing a mold summary or summit February 21st to 27th. That's awesome. Doom says, hi, Doom. It's nice to see you. Doom says, Megan, how did you find out about the microbe formulas? So Doom, this is kind of funny. Honestly, I figured out that I had a parasite and I was super disgusted. I remember my husband and I were driving back from New Hampshire. He was driving and we had just gone to visit my mom, and I knew of another company that had a product that I had actually used before when I was younger, which I thought was just like a digestive cleanse. I didn't really know it dealt with parasites, but they were out of stock. So I was just Googling and I found microbe formulas. And when I first looked at it, I was like, God, this looks like a scam. And I was really worried, but I ordered their products. I remember they came 2 days faster than I thought that they would ever arrive. And I instantly took it as soon as I got it. And so the first thing that I took was just the parasite stuff. And basically right away, definitely was seeing some stuff, nothing too scary, but I knew that there was a parasite problem. Within a week, the bloating was getting significantly better. And when I told my friend that is really knowledgeable about all things mold, about the company, she was like, that's a great company, but you're doing it wrong and you need to start from the start. Like, you think you've done more to get better from mold and you need to take these beginning steps. And I really was like, why do I need that? I don't want to buy more stuff. And so anyway, I did start taking the drainage, I just went to step one of the protocol. I stopped with the killing stuff and started, and that was when I saw gallstones and all this other stuff. So I really found it by chance. Like when I saw their website, I don't know, I'm so cynical about stuff, and I didn't expect that anything could work that well. Um, and it just, I mean, I would be so sad if that company went out of business, because it is, I don't know how they put together a protocol like this, but it's so complete and it has made such a big difference. So then another one of my friends who also was recovering from mold kind of like watched me with what I was doing, and she was kind of cynical and she sort of didn't think she needed it. And then she started on it, and I mean, she's had breakthroughs like she hasn't had. Like we both just like talk about it, and we're super fans of it because we were trying all this stuff and we were going to expensive doctors but not seeing the results. They have a practitioner line as well called Cellcore, which is the same product. There's a few things that are slightly different, but basically the same product. And I don't know why my doctor didn't carry that, because to me, it's the way that they designed this program was just so smart. So many people, when they treat you for mold stuff, are just treating some of the stuff, but they're leaving so much stuff that's not it's not taken care of really. So anyway, that's how I found it. It was just by chance, and I'm so grateful that I did find it. I've literally written them before, I've called them just to say, oh my God, thank you for this. This is so awesome. I made a video just talking about how much I loved their product because I was recommending it to everyone. And they contacted me and asked me if I wanted to be an ambassador for them. And I was like, yes, I definitely do, because I've already been an ambassador for you and I love your product so much. So that's always my, like, if I'm ever, I get approached all the time because I do have a lot of business stuff going on, and I have like, beauty Instagrams and all this stuff. And most people I just say no to, because if it's not something that I already take or I would be recommending to everyone all the time, I don't see the point of having anything to do with the company. So yeah, I was pretty honored when they did that. It felt so good. Let's see what else is happening here. I feel like I'm bad about answering everybody's questions sometimes. Let's see. John says only one thieves oil left. I just bought one with a diffuser. So it's so funny. I think Young Living, like years ago, I was an affiliate for them. I'm going to call them and get, I'm going to get an affiliate link for Young Living, because then I'm going to get a better price on the oils. And then I think if people want to order through my links and stuff, I can do that too. So there's even more selection. So I'll try to do that next week, so I have a better link for you guys if they're getting low on them. Doesn't it look so nice and clean, John? It's so pretty. I mean, like, I can't believe that it's a, I want to show you guys one more thing too. So I can't believe that it's a trailer, because it just has so many cool features. It has a bed that's over the dining table that you touch a button and the bed drops down with the touch of a button. So if you have guests, you can have a made bed come down, so you don't have to do the whole thing of like changing the bed and have it be, really hard and stuff. And the other thing that it has, which I like because I think fresh air is everything, it has a deck. So this is the outside of the trailer. It has a fold down patio that comes out. So you have big glass doors going into your unit. That's me, obviously. I was like, oh gosh, please, let's buy one of these. Like, this is beautiful. So yeah, it's so cool. The dogs could be out on the patio and stuff, which is awesome. Adrian, thank you so much. Adrian says, love your camper, so bright, all the healing can happen there. Enjoy. I agree. So I grew up also in the country on a farm, and the city is very, like, I don't know how to explain it. People are just mad in the city all the time. Like, you go to cross the crosswalk and people are sort of like trying to hit you. I know that sounds crazy, but they literally speed up their cars even if you have the walk sign. So I feel like I'm just ready to be in a more chill place with friendlier people as well. John says a client sells them. That's awesome. Oh, so nice. John says, hi, Doom. How's it hanging? And John says, oil diffuser and thieves oil purchased. I'll get phase 1 of the microbe in about 3 weeks. And just how I started, John, just so you guys know, and if any of you guys do the microbe formulas, my one thing is don't follow the directions on the package, do less. So if you get 4 products to start 1 at a time and start at less than the full dosage, because just remember, detoxing is stressful on your body. So they have like a general, set of, okay, take this, but I always say start slow and low. Even like I didn't really start as slow and low with this Adrenal Cocktail. If you guys are joining later, this is a little cocktail that my friend just taught me to make. It's orange juice, cream of tartar, and Celtic sea salt, and it's to help balance my mineral levels because I've been using so many minerals for detoxing. So I was getting freezing cold in the afternoons. So I drink this in the morning and in the afternoon. But even this, I was supposed to start a little bit slower and lower, and that's probably why I'm experiencing a little bit more detox symptoms than I want to. So slow and low is definitely the way to go. Good question, John. I don't know if anybody else here has tried microbe yet. I hope they do, because I think like I don't know, when people are using stuff that's not microbe, I'm like, that's good. But if you want to have faster results, I wish people would try it, but I know people have to get to their place of what they're ready for in their time. But I wish that I had just tried it faster, because I could have just gotten better faster, which would have been nice. Lori says, I use microbe formulas for my parasites. It works. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, isn't it, Lori? Because like you kind of can't believe that you could have that issue, and you're like, what in the world? Like, good to do that. So many people for sure have those issues. Oh yeah, thank you for sharing that. So Leslie says, thanks, Lori, for the mold summit info. I just signed up, and I'm sure I'll learn a lot. I love like you guys sharing this information with each other is so awesome. So John, you can totally ask how much the trailers are and where they are. All right, I'll give you a little bit of information. So it's called Living Vehicle. I found it from this website that I really like. You guys might like this website too, because as you are sensitive to mold, you're also sensitive to chemicals. And if you guys haven't figured that out yet, the more healthy products that you can use around you, the healthier that you're going to get faster with the mold issue, because your body is going to mistake it. It thinks VOCs and mold are the same thing. So if you spray a big, synthetic fragrance little party on yourself, you take out your Chanel perfume and you spray it, it's like you're putting mold onto yourself. I know that sounds terrible, but you're going to react to fragrances and chemicals just like mold, and you're going to have a hard time. You'll be like, wow, why do I have gastric issues after I'm around fragrance? Or, if depending on what, like Glade plugins would literally kill me. If I was in a room with Glade plugins, I would just have to get out of there. So, oh my gosh, John, that's right. You're in California. You can totally go see them. That's awesome. There's an option for you. All right. So a few different things. The trailers we were originally looking at Airstream. I found the trailers on this website. It is called My Chemical Free Home. And this woman, Corinne, that writes all about healthy stuff and like building materials and different options. Because what you start to realize when you have this happen is you can't just use regular stuff. Like my husband used Gooby Gone in our living room one day, and I started immediately. So my chemical reaction that I have is that I immediately get nauseous, and I don't know why, but I start burping uncontrollably and gagging. So I was in the master bathroom and that happened, and I was like, what's being used in our house? So I came out and he was like pouring Gooby Gone. So I opened all the windows. I went outside, he cleaned it. I felt sick for a week after. Gooby Gone has some nasty chemicals in it, by the way. Very, very nasty. Who knew? But anyway, so I started going to this website. I can't just tell a story and like stick to it. Stick to the story, Megan. I started going on this website because she has really good information about different products, what's safe to use, alternatives for bedding, whatever. Well, she had campers and RVs for mold sensitive people thing that was up. And so that was how I found Living Vehicle, because we were looking at Airstreams. And as it turns out, Airstreams are not necessarily the best option for an RV because they tend to leak a lot. And when they leak, there's nowhere for the water to go. So they get moldy. So we saw the Living Vehicle and they are expensive. So when we saw it, I was like, whoa, we were both like mad at how expensive it was. And we're like, why does it have to be that much? Like everything else is so much less and things like that. Well, they have on their YouTube, they do such a good job with their YouTube, they have interior and exterior tours. So when you start to watch the interior and exterior tours, you start to get why they're so expensive, because they have like you can run the one that we want. We want the highest up one that is like full solar. It's got a spa bathroom with a bidet, with a rain head shower, towel warmer, which is also great because it dries your towels, real kitchen, drop down patio. You can put a grill on the patio. It's got an indoor outdoor shower, security system. Oh, it's got 3 kinds of water purification, air filtration, movie system. It kind of goes on and on. It's got the guest bed, and then you can set another bed where the dining table is up. You can, if it has a leak, you can actually dry it because they used really good, safe materials. And it just has amazing solar and energy generation. So if you drive the trailer somewhere, there's an option where your truck can charge the trailer. It has true 4 seasons package. So you can go from -10 to 120 degrees. So it's really meant to be like a house. It's not just like an RV to live in. You can live in it sometimes, but it's meant to have every comfort of home. It even has like a drop down desk. Like if you guys like to watch videos, watch the Living Vehicle video. Okay, so they've got some used ones up on the site, John, and some people definitely take them and just like live in those and make those like a standalone thing. They have, I'll tell you like a little bit about the company. They have a few used units right now, which are super nice. They just were not the top of the line solar like we wanted. So I want to say their beginning unit is like $350,000. And what's interesting about them is they've never sold a used one for less than it was originally purchased. So the used ones have all gotten more expensive instead of less expensive because there's such a demand for these off-grid trailers. They only produce 25 per year. So there's a very limited run of how many they make. But the add-ons are super expensive. So the one we want is significantly more than that base model one because it's way more powerful. It's got like a solar awning that comes out that doubles the solar power. There's just so many things. Like I'd have to look at all the options, but the options are insane because we're planning on full-time living in it. Oh yeah. John, that's the base model. But if you watch the video and you see all the things, it's like, it's not a regular RV. I don't mean to sound like a jerk. It just is made to, if you see what they do, it's so state of the art. And that's not for everybody, right? Like not everybody's going to do that. But for us, if we're going to travel in something, we want it to be safe. There's a built-in vacuum. There's like water filtration. There's instant hot water. You can be totally off grid. So you don't need to be at a RV resort where they might be spraying pesticides and stuff. So anyway, it's not for everybody, but for our needs where we would be selling our place, it would be our home, that would be where we would be living. So for us, we wish it was way less expensive, but we also get why it's so expensive because it does so much stuff. So, and the difficult thing is if you want to order a new one, it's 50% down. So it's a ton of money down. So I just have kept in touch with them and we would actually be getting their 2023 demo. So it has cool features that nobody has ever had before, which is really, really awesome. But they're still, they're definitely worth looking at because they are amazing. But yeah, so expensive, but you know what? Solar houses, so it's okay. Just reading through. Okay, Lori, how much cream of tartar? So the I'm gonna do a video with that, but I can tell you guys right now, and if you think of it and you comment after when this goes up, I'll see the comment and I can write out the recipe. So for this adrenal cocktail, it is 1/4 teaspoon of Celtic sea salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar, 4 ounces of orange juice. Tell me if you want me to repeat that too, and I totally will. It's actually really good. So I take it right around the times that my cortisol would be the lowest during the day. So I usually take it when I feel kind of low in the morning, maybe around 10 in the morning, 9 or 10 in the morning, and then again around 2 or 3 in the afternoon is when I drink it. I don't drink it right before bed. My cortisol probably isn't that low right then. John says, Lori, if it was you or another person that has a child possibly with mold sickness, if it was you, are they taking the micro formulas? Oh, Alfie, you're catching the comb right on your head. Okay, hold on. John says I need a Bay area, California area unit. Yeah, well, they're in Santa Barbara, John. So you could actually definitely go see them. Yes, VOCs, candles, perfumes, and VOCs. Lori says, I have 2 sons. One is fine. The other came up with high levels. The doctor recommended detox supplements she sold. Hi, Chloe. How are you? It's nice to see you on here. Or Cole, I'm so sorry. Why am I saying Chloe? I'm reading it wrong. John says, I see. Did you plan on trying the micro formula for him? Lori says, no, he is off to university and doing better. That's awesome. And Lori says, I think just getting out of the house was huge. I bet, for sure. I think these are still going. Let's see if I can. Oh, yeah, I can scroll. Oh, yeah, perfect. Sorry. Julie says, I'm living in our self-made toy hauler because my mobile makes me sick. That's so awesome. Do you have an ATC toy hauler or a different one, Julie? Because we looked at, we like ATCs as well. That's really great that you can do that. John says, sounds absolutely amazing. It definitely is. And it's like so ridiculous. Like we're like dying. We wish it was a lot less, but it's also a place that we can have as a home to always have a safe place for me. So if depending on where we wind up, we can use that trailer to get back and forth. And if we want to renovate a house, because I would, for me, always buy a house that needed to be fixed up, because I think a lot of people put lipstick on a pig, meaning that when they're selling those places and they're flipping those units, they're not Alfie, they're not doing it the way that it needs to be done. So I would rather buy it for a really good price where it needs a ton of work, rip it apart and, do the plumbing the way it needs to be done, rip any moldy parts out and make it super healthy the way that I need it to be. Because I don't necessarily need super fancy finishes. I just need things to be healthy. So if I have the trailer, then I have a place where I can live when we're doing things that, we need to do to make it the way we want it to be. Sarah says, hi, Sarah. It says, I came in a little late. You're never late. Just so you know, you're always welcome. It doesn't matter what time you come in. Always feel free to hop in. And if you ask the same things that we already talked about, totally cool as well. So please don't ever feel like you're late because you're right on time. It says, not to change the subject, but has your little puppy always been so relaxed while you're grooming? She has a good demeanor. Did you already discuss detox for pets too? So he's like the best little dog. He's so great, Sarah. Other than the fact that this dog, he loves to pee on my things, like just all the time. And he waits until I'm not watching him. And then he just like goes and, do you pee on mommy's things? Yes, you do. But he does have a great personality. He's a little bit like mad right now because am I taking so long to brush you? I'm taking so long to brush him. So he's kind of annoyed about that. Yes, 100% detoxing for pets is so important. So I was talking about the human side with people, and that's the micro formulas. That same company, thank goodness, made a pet product called Polypet that I also link to in my descriptions. So the Polypet product is super, super nice for pets. I give it to my dogs. I am really, I do it really slowly because I feel like their bodies are so small and so sensitive. And because I know that I kind of like hit the skids sometimes with my detoxing, if I go too fast, I try to go nice and slow for them. And I also give them some supplements from Dr. Dobius for minerals and vitamins to supplement them as I pull the things out. I actually just did a video that I'm going to post for you guys because I realized that I have like dog playlists and I have mold playlists. And I think I had talked to the dog people about detoxing their Yorkies. And most people that follow me for Yorkies just don't even know, they're so sweet, but they don't know the importance of detox because they haven't necessarily had it happen to them. And I think that people that have dealt with mold know how much their pets need it as well. So the pet product is amazing. I've got it in the links to my videos. They also gave, like, I just contact all these companies and they give me discount codes for my viewers. So I've got, I think it's Megan Graham, one word, gets you 25% off the pet detox products. But I just want to show you my container of my pet detox stuff just so you can see how slow I go. Hold on one second, just so you can see how little I use. What are you doing? Why do you want to get away so much? Why do you want to get away so much? All right, so this is the pet detox stuff. There's really only 2 products that I use for this. It's by Polypet, little drops. I just put these right on top of their food. I think they say to put them in water. I find it easier just to put them on their food when I'm preparing it. This is called Renew. It's really similar to the biotoxin binder, which is part of microbe formulas, but it's for pets. I've been giving them this product for over 3 months. And because I'm very, very, it's so messy, by the way. It's such like a fine black powder, but I've been giving it for months and months, and you can see how much I've used. Just because they are so small. So I'm always afraid of giving them too much and causing too much of a detox reaction. So I'm gradually increasing it over time as I get them a little bit with more momentum, with more mold removed, but that's what I use. Let me know if I'm missing any of the links. They should be, guys, there's always links in the description of these videos, just so you guys know. And so you can always check it out down there. But I think that the mold stuff is so important to remove from your pets. And I have noticed a huge difference in they're so much more relaxed with their personalities since I started removing the mold. So one of my dogs used to always want to be on her own. She never liked to be held and she never liked to be touched. And about 6 weeks into removing the mold, she started wanting to sit with me all the time. And I knew, I'm like, she's just been feeling bad. And she must have been feeling bad since I got her when she was 2 years old. So it was pretty amazing to see that even, kind of removing inflammation from pets makes such a significant difference. So if you have other questions about pet detox, just ask away on here. Ask anything that I can answer. Like, I'm always happy to tell you what I do. Julie says, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and when I go east of the Cascades, I feel great. That's awesome. John says, you're a savage wheeler and dealer. I mean, I do, like, I need to be a wheeler and dealer. Like, I couldn't afford to do the 50% down to get a trailer. So I just asked them if they had a demo unit so I could put 10% down because I want to get a trailer. I just don't have 50% down of that much. I was like, I'll never get one of those. So you don't get you miss all the shots that you don't take, right? What is that? Oh my goodness, what were you doing in the closet? Oops, guys, I locked my cat in the closet before, apparently. I heard a little scratching and I got worried that maybe there was an animal outside, and it was my cat and he was locked in the closet. Sorry about that. I got a little bit nervous for a second there. Julie says, Redmond's Ancient Sea Salt is plastics free. Awesome. Untouched by man-made pollutants. And we use a utility. No, guys, there. Poppy. Come on, honey. It's okay. We use the utility trailer because RVs are made crap. Very true. Very true. And you said I found out particle board cabinets have glue that grows mold. 100% they do. Check out, Julie, check out the My Chemical Free Home website. I think you'll really, really like that one as well. Hey, that's my comb. No, cats are such troublemakers though. Oh my goodness. All right, Alfie, I think I'm gonna give you a little break because you don't really want me to finish brushing you right now. So we'll get Lola in just a minute. Let's put your hair up and I'll come back to you. I think he needs a little break because I'm taking so long on his hair. Julie says, oh, our trailer sprung a leak, grew mold, and I had to replace one of the cabinets after only 5 months. If you live in an RV, you need a drier climate. Except with the one that we're getting. So this one's like a little bit different, although yeah, we don't want to be in a super humid place either. And you have a dehumidifier. Keeping the humidity under 55% to 60, yes, keeps dust mites and mold from growing. Hello, I think it's Corticia. Is that how I say it? I hope so. John asked Doom, Lola, come on. Hi, can I hold you? Come here. Can you stop barking? Good girl, come here. I love my Yorkies will come like part of the way to me and then they stop. They always stop like before I can actually get them. They're like, that's far enough. This is Lola. I have so many dogs. Julie says, looks like charcoal. It looks like charcoal, but it's not charcoal. So it's actually carbon, which is better than charcoal. Charcoal can't grab as much out of your body and it gets filled up. And carbon has different long, short, and medium chains. So it can pick up a lot more toxins, and it also delivers oxygen to the cells as it's pulling out the bad stuff. So I like it a lot. Yes, you miss all the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky. That's a good one. I didn't know that. Sarah says, Alfie is so good. I'm a proud Morky auntie. So cute. He is 10 months and is so difficult to groom. Maybe he needs a good detox. How early can you begin detox for pets? I am using your link right now. Thanks. You can begin detox whenever you want to. Just do a smaller amount than they say on the bottle would be my best advice. And if you see them feeling any worse, give them a few days off, just like you would with a person. When I first did the detox with Poppy, she was definitely the one that needed to pull a lot of stuff out. And I noticed she was kind of not feeling as well after about a week and a half. So I gave her enough days until she was totally back to normal. And then I started again with a smaller amount. And it has made a significant difference with her, less gunk from the eyes as well. And just remember that, we never know where the pets really were raised. So a lot of breeders have them in basements, and they could have been passed on toxins maternally. So I think it's good to do even for puppies personally. Julie says you are planning to build a new home. That's amazing. Oh, over the mountains. So nice. I don't know where I want to live. I haven't really figured out that part of my whole puzzle of this whole thing, but I will say that I think from what I've heard, and I think it's true. Hey, can you not? What are you eating? Alfie? No, drop it. What is that? No. Looks like we're going to, hold on one second. I'll pick you up again. Having pets is definitely something that keeps you on your toes. You guys, no. Come on, it's not your turn. I'm talking. Mama's talking. There you go. Come here. Sorry, guys. We're a little bit wild just because I got the cat out of there. Yeah, so I don't know exactly where I want to wind up after this home in Boston, but I think I want somewhere where I can get more fresh air, more grounding, more like, I would like to be able to be in a place where I have like at the very least a deck, but I think a backyard where in the morning I could sit out and have coffee It's really good to get vitamin D and sunshine as soon as you wake up. It's one of those things that helps your sleep cycle. So it's funny. We went glamping this summer, and just when we went glamping, I was like, I need to not be in my house in the city anymore and have an outdoor space, because this feels so good to be out, like on a bike and on a hike and walking and things like that. So we went glamping once, and I decided I wanted to live in an RV, which I'm sure you guys will see videos from the road as well. So that is pretty much kind of what's going on with me. If you guys like, just let me know later, and I'll post the recipe for this adrenal cocktail. If you guys, was there anybody that wasn't on the, I want to say Zoom, but the live stream when I was talking about why I'm doing the adrenal cocktail? I'm happy to explain. I never mind explaining things twice, and it was a pretty important thing that I just learned this week. So I always like to pass it on. What are you doing? Hi, big guy. Come here. They always need so much brushing and so much care and everything. I don't use turmeric. It's actually in this one, although I think there's probably different recipes. So this one is Celtic sea salt, cream of tartar, and orange juice, but it's very close to the one that you're talking about. John says, we own land down in Big Bear. Oh, that's so nice. In the mountains of Riverside, you can stay, but need to do some weed abatement and pour a foundation. Oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot. Look up jet fuel latte recipe. Is that the one that you're talking about, Julie? Jet fuel latte, or is it a different one? I definitely like this one. My body's just still getting used to it, that's for sure. But I know it will get used to it. I'm just doing so many different things because my goal is we're probably going to leave here around probably late June. And my goal is to be at like 95%, perfect health. So I'm just doing all the things because I'm so close. Maca and cocoa. Interesting. Raw chocolate powder. Probably like almost like cacao, I think. I know what you're talking about. Definitely. Sounds really good. So many different things that you can do for health. That's for sure. One thing that I've finally been able to do is just to like work out consistently again. And I will say I was not feeling my best. It was not my best detox week. And I had a 2-hour session booked because in Boston, I couldn't get the shot that everybody's getting because mold predisposes you to blood clots. And I felt, kind of like discussed it with my doctor, and that wasn't going to be a good idea for me. But that means that I can't go anywhere in Boston because there's passports here. So anyway, I drive out half an hour outside of Boston to work out now. And it's kind of a big deal. So then I work out for 2 hours. So it's a pretty big, it is a pretty big drive, but it's so worth it. And I love just working out and being able to do that again. That sounds delicious, Julie. Thank you for sharing that. It sounds awesome. What are you? Oh, the cat is like in prey mode. He wants to, I think he's going to attack whatever dog is down there. Not in a mean way. John says, oh, that's a good question. If you had a percentage of how your health is now over the past of healing, what percentage are you? That's a really good question, John. Oh God, how would I rate my health? I never rate my health. Okay, I would say 85%. What's interesting is I used to think I was at 80% when this all started, but I would say that when this all started, I was at 40%, and I would say that I feel like I'm at 85% now. I know I still have a bunch of toxins to pull. I'm still, believe it or not, improving my drainage. And after I remove all of that stuff, then I know that I need to or my body is going to figure out how to right some of the things, such as hormone production. My skin is going to become like it used to be, and a few other things like that. But very, very close. My sleep is good. My anxiety is like so low now. And yeah, there's just a lot of like really good stuff that happened. So I'm almost there. Just a little bit more to go, I guess I would say, but almost there. It's really happening. I think I thought I had done more before, and I can definitely tell I'm like pulling out these like deep, deep layers, which intuitively I would say some of this stuff has been going on for longer than I thought, perhaps since I was like a little girl. So yeah, it's really getting there. It's just that it's kind of like anytime I tried to get into competition shape for one of my fitness competitions, it was always that last little like percent of body fat to be ready to be on stage. That was the hardest to do. And I think like these last little kind of cleanup bits, it's just doing it and taking the binders and things like that. That takes, a little bit of time, but it's not hard to do. And I don't mind doing it. And I love sharing what I've learned, because it's like, I wish I had learned so much of this stuff before, that's for sure. Lori says, will you YouTube from your new pad? That's definitely my plan, Lori. And it's funny, like and that's one of the things that's hard for me to let go of with this place, because I do love this condo. But I don't really want to be in the city anymore. And of course, you have to pay a lot for a condo that's in the city. So you could just have a place somewhere else. But it's so big for YouTubing and stuff like that. But I don't really think you have to have a big place to YouTube. Like that little bedroom is so cute. And I think I can YouTube in a little white room or sit outside. Well, sitting outside might be hard, I guess, right? If it's windy, even though I use a mic, if it's really windy, that could be hard. But yeah, I think I could just YouTube from inside the trailer. And probably we would do some stuff with like travel YouTubes and things. But I mean, I think I would just do a lot of the things. Oh my gosh, she loves it when I just sit, because I'm never still. She's like, oh, this is great. My mom's holding me. But yeah, I would still do YouTubes and things like that. So that's why I've been working so hard on my other YouTube too, because I'm like working and monetizing my YouTubes so that and my other stuff that I do, including like making products, because I produce products and sell them online, becomes my income. So I can work from anywhere, which has always been a dream of mine. Julie says, I have no health issues otherwise, and I ended up with a heart blockage, which I feel is from the mold. For sure it is. And that's why, that's why I didn't want to get the shot, because I already knew that I had stuff going on. I had heart palpitations, and I just know that mold can make you more prone, at least at the time, to blood clots and stuff. So I didn't want to take my chances. But hopefully with the right things that you're doing, Julie, I think the human body is amazing. And it heals when you give it what it needs to heal. John says, shoot, I'll take 40%. I'm like 10. It does sound like you're 10, John. Honestly, I would say you're probably 10, but you know what? It's going to feel so good when you get so much back of your health. So just know that you definitely can do that. Julie says, when I feel good, I'm positive and productive, but when I feel horrible, I'm irritable and depressed. So Julie, you can actually look it up. It's called brain on fire. And the reason that happens is it's brain inflammation. So inflammation everywhere causes different things. The anxiety and depression that I had, which isn't normal for me at all, was definitely caused by inflammation in my brain. It's so different how I feel now. So that's the thing I'm probably the most thankful for, because I really haven't ever felt like that my whole life. And that was like my cat is going crazy over there. I'm not sure why. That was the hardest part for me, was like the psychological stuff that I felt. So it will get better. And Julie says, trying to pretend not to be sick is exhausting. It is. It's harder than just acting like you're sick, right? Because that wouldn't take as much energy. I had to do that a lot because I own a hair salon and I work with pretty high profile clients, and I couldn't go in and be like, hey, I'm so tired today. So I had to go in and be like, Hi guys, how are you? And I just like wanted to pass out and lay in my bed. So now I have real energy again, which feels amazing and I'm happy for. Um, Stive Morgan, how are you? It says our cute little Yorkies and doodle puppies are just 9 weeks now and are ready for adoption. No, sorry, but we're not selling dogs on my chat. Especially because I don't know. I just don't know why somebody would come to my chat and try to like sell dogs. But I was like, hi, no. It says you can. I saw a YouTuber on his RV deck doing live. Oh, that's so cool to know. That's awesome. I think it probably depends on what the wind's like and stuff like that. But if it's windy, the great thing about like YouTube live and things is you can just move. It's just like a conversation. So people will tell you if it's windy and then you can just go inside, right? Julie, they definitely can be. I mean, I think for some people they can be fine, but I think it's really it's a personal decision between you and your doctor and things like that. So I had the C at the very beginning, as did my husband. And I was doing a bunch of like good stuff that was for my mold recovery because I take a few supplements outside of microbe formulas like quercetin, NAC, vitamin C, and vitamin D. And I think I did great with it. So I was really pleased and I barely had any symptoms at all. So I'm good. I've been fine. And then I do a nasal rinse every single day when I leave the salon, or if I'm going to do it later because I was around people. It's called Xlear, and that is really good as well to keep viruses out, including the ones happening now. So I do that, and it has been really helpful because I'm around people all the time, and I'm totally fine. So, and there have been sick people around me, and I've still been fine. Um, Lori says, I pretended for years, Julie. It probably would have been better to be more open, but it is hard when you're not sure what it is wrong. And Lori, what's hard too, I have to say, like, it's really hard because when you are sick from this, even though you look different, even though you don't look the same, other people think you look fine. So sometimes it's hard for them to see that even when we're not feeling well, they're like, but you look fine. Like you're totally, totally fine. I don't know if I've shown you guys, but I'm just gonna show you guys. I had done this I actually did this comparison because I made a comparison for microbe formulas, but so this was me, and I don't know if you can see it in my face, but I mean, I'm not like dolled up today or anything, but I think you can see even on a day where I didn't feel great this week, I didn't look like this. And here it looked like I had like a mug shot every day. My eyes were so tired, my face was all bumpy, and I could see it. And everybody said, you look fine. But I looked sad and my eyes looked like all downturned, and I looked kind of like maybe I was, I don't know, smoking something or something. It just didn't look like me. And now I feel like my vitality is coming back and my health is coming back. This is what I looked like. This was my gut every day because it was so irritated. So usually, I'm going to show you how my stomach usually looks. It's usually like this is like from working out and whatever. So that was my normal stomach before this happened and after I got treatment. This was my stomach every single day when the mold was happening, and I'm not expecting. It was that bloated and that irritated, and that just tells you like what was going on with me. And I think that so many of us, we kind of hide it, and I felt subconscious of that. And obviously, like, it actually hurt because to be that bloated really, really hurts. And probably some of you guys have experienced this as well. But I think for other people, they just can't exactly see what's going on with you. So it is a really hard thing. And we sort of cover it up. Or, yeah, like Julie's saying, and I totally get this. Like Julie says, people can't see your sickness, so they think you're lazy. Exactly. Like I went to a Tony Robbins business mastery and I couldn't make it through the day. And I remember it was in Vegas and it was a $10,000 class. Like that was a lot of money for me. And I went and I couldn't do it. And I couldn't sit through the day. and I couldn't do the dancing that they were doing, and I could barely sit up in my chair, and I wound up leaving, and they gave me such a hard time about leaving. Like, they didn't know, right? Like, and I just looked normal, and I was crying when I got home. Well, not home, but to the hotel room. My husband had traveled with me, and I was like, I can't make it through this seminar. I paid so much money for it, and I need to leave. We need to go back to Boston. I can't be away from home. So it is so hard to go through when you're in the middle of it. I'm so grateful not to be in the middle of that part. And the faster I can help you guys get out of any of you guys being in that part, like, please let me know, because we need to get you through that, because that is the worst part to be in for sure. Um, yeah, and definitely, Lori, or they think you're crazy. Agree. Julie says we did too. I still take all of that. I did colloidal silver nasal spray. That's awesome. John says the wife didn't believe me and thought it was all in my head. She never got sick, and that threw me a curve. Luckily, found Megan, who has been a great resource. Her sharing so much has helped. Still a ways to go. Yeah, John, I mean, my husband didn't get sick either. He definitely would feel like she's so cute, this little puppy. He definitely felt like, he was getting a little cold sometimes, but he never felt sick the way that I did. He would just be like, oh, I just feel puffy when I wake up here. Like, I just feel puffy, but never anything like I felt. And when he would leave, so normal people that can detox well, even if they're in a moldy place, when they leave for the day, their body is able to recognize the mold toxins and get them out. People that get sick from mold usually have some issues with their ability to detox in their body, which need to be straightened out and fixed. But the good news is, once you start to remove stuff, once you start to fix things, it's cool. Your body wakes up and remembers how to detox. So it does get better, which is so cool. Julie says, I slept with an IQ Air next to my bed and still got sick. Yeah, because you can put air filters everywhere, but they can't outrun the mold. Yes, the only cure was leaving the house. Absolutely. You can have as many of them as you want, but if you're in a super moldy room, it's just not enough to do it. John says, I sleep in a special canopy over the bed, 2 regular air filters, and an Austin Air. That's awesome. I hope it helps. Julie says, my husband would always say he feels like he's getting sick. Yes, that's what my husband said too, Julie. So he did feel it, not as much as I did, but he did feel it. And Julie said he's usually the Energizer Bunny, and now he's slow. So you guys both have some healing and fixing to do for sure. But it's going to get better. I mean, as long as you do the right things. Obviously, it's not just like feeling like it is going to get better and not doing things, but you can make it so much better. I don't know if you guys have all seen, but if anyone hasn't seen it, I have a whole playlist on mold. So not only do I do these lives, but I also have a whole playlist where I talk about what I've done to heal. And I also just like to tell you guys like what's been going on for the week too, just so you sort of know what to expect. Because one thing that I see is, like, when I go on to the Facebook page, which is called, I think it's Microbe Formulas Detox Heroes. And I see a lot of people and they're like, oh man, like they're doing the detox and they're like, I had these symptoms and I felt worse. And it's like, yeah, that happens when you're pulling stuff out of your body. So I think kind of knowing what to expect, knowing that it's not always smooth sailing, but that it also shouldn't be terrible as you're removing the mold. John says, that's me. I'm the wild man in the relationship, and now I'm in bed all day. Oh, don't go out like ever. You were the wild man. You'll be there again, John. You're definitely going to get there. I would start the protocol as soon as you can. So I know you're still living in mold, but even if you can get some of it out, like that biotoxin binder that comes with the detox is going to help pull some of those mold toxins out. So even though the first month is drainage of the microbe formulas, you will be doing a binder, and that will pull things out. So I would start, I mean, if I were you, I would probably start as soon as I could. Yep, motorcycles, mountain bikes, horses, and now I do nothing. I've never ridden a motorcycle, but I did mountain bike race and show jump horses. So I totally feel you. And you get really, really tired. So I'm so happy that I planned this live in advance so that I could meet up with you guys. I feel like it's so nice to talk to you guys, and it definitely makes me happy to be able to pass on some info to you, just to hopefully help or give you guys some ideas or what have you. And also just let you know you're not alone, you're not crazy. And, as long as you obviously take action and do the things you need to do, you definitely can get better. So just know you're going to get better. It's all possible. I'm probably going to do a live stream at a similar time next week. I'm going to schedule it a little bit later than I did this one because I drove outside the city to work out at the gym, ate something, left, and then drove back. And it was like, I realized I was going to be late. So I'll probably just do it. I think I had scheduled this for 2. I might schedule the next one for 2:30. But I love chatting with you guys and just wanted to say, like, thanks so much. Like, this is legitimately such a kind group. And it's so funny how much I enjoy coming in and just like making the time to talk to you guys. And like, I'm just excited to hear about your progress. So please, come back. Let me know how your progress is. If you look and you're, and oh, Wendy, if you're just joining, I can stay on for a few more minutes too. I don't want to leave you if you're just getting here, but just let as well, like if there's stuff that I missed with the links, if there's stuff that you need me to help you out with, or just like tell you what I've been doing, I will definitely do that. I'm going to get on it and make some more videos too. It's so funny because my playlists are so different on YouTube, but I feel like there's like several things that I've really like studied. And so anyway, kind of like sharing that stuff. Wendy says, hello, my son has been on phase 1 for 2 months and is going to start para 1 slowly because he's so bloated and he's in pain. And Wendy, are you going to continue phase 1 products into phase 2 as well? Or are you just going to go into the phase 2 products? Like, I can never say what you should do, but I personally continue like my phase 1 products into phase 2 as support. And I know that they have different phases, but I basically just like, instead of moving into a whole new phase, a lot of times I kept the supportive products always and just added in the new binders and things like that. So cool. I mean, if he's still so bloated, I think that's a really good idea. And just to let you know, like one thing, Wendy, that I have heard the doctors on. So I listen to the micro live things a lot. And one of the things that I would say about the moving forward in the protocol that the doctors said is that a lot of times, like they said, it's always important to move forward into the new protocol because it's very possible that there's something that is hindering you that you need to get out that's in the next phase. So if you don't do it, you won't get it out. And that was really why I moved into the heavy metals. I was going really slow in the phase 3 and I didn't really feel ready for the heavy metals. But when they said that, I was like, okay, I'm going to move into the metals. And when I moved into the metals, it was like, oh, here was my problem. Like this was my biggest problem and I had no idea. So I think that's a really good idea. Just anytime he can get movement, Wendy, just remember the movement will help as well. Like I wasn't feeling great today and I'm not saying he should work out, but I didn't feel like working out. And then I was like, okay, I'm still tired after working out, but man, I feel like my body feels better. My lymphatic system needed that. Yes, exactly, John. Like starting slow on the phase 1 for sure. Julie says, was it brain pain? Was it brain pain? Sorry, I'm just going up a little bit. Was what brain pain? I'm so sorry. Sorry that I'm like spacing out. Sometimes I get like lost in the comments and things like that. It looks like my darn computer is saying low battery, and I'm too lazy to plug it in right now. Plus, probably I should be a good girl and get out there. Yeah, I'm gonna go out to walk my dogs in the garden before it gets too dark. But okay, so he can't move very well. That's okay, Wendy. Maybe you can Google and see what you can do for lymphatic drainage for someone that can't move around a little bit. There might be some massage stuff you can do. There's also something you can do. gosh, what's it called? What's it called? Power plate. Power plate has like a vibrational plate that I think you could probably stand or sit on that would help with lymphatic drainage too. So just an idea. I think they have a pretty not very expensive power plate because he's definitely not going to be rebounding or anything. Probably, yes, parasites sucking his iron. They definitely do that. And yes, make sure there's fresh air circulation in that room. Very good idea. Brain on fire, 100% brain on fire. Yes, I get exactly what you're saying. Sorry. Yep, brain on fire is definitely inflammation. It can cause depression, anxiety. They actually say that certain parasites, I believe certain parasites can even be linked with like suicides and things like that. All of this brain inflammation causes a lot of stress. It causes some people to have like drug addictions, drinking issues, just because they're trying to take away the pain. So, I mean, I never drank a lot or anything like that. I did have a lot of trouble sleeping. I will say that now that I'm getting so much better, I don't even really want to drink at all ever. It's just, I don't know, it just doesn't go with what I'm trying to do. So it's kind of interesting. Um, Guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your kindness. You guys are beautiful souls, and I'm happy to know you on YouTube. I'm happy to just be able to chat with you and things. And I hope that you guys have a beautiful week and that something, just some little health change starts to happen for you this week, and that you do something that takes really good care of you. It was so good to see you guys, and I should be back next Monday at 2:30. So I hope to see you guys again. It's always fun to chat with you. If you have any questions in between, always feel free to pop them into my video. And again, if you need to know any of my favorite things, I include all the links in the description. So always feel free to go in there and check out my links and check out my other playlist that has a bunch of mold information. I hope that it helps you in some way. And even if you don't have good information, I hope like the videos relax you with their relaxing nature, because we all could use a little relaxing. Thank you so much, guys, and bless you guys as well. And I will see you guys soon. You're all such beautiful people, and I'm so appreciative for you. And Lola says goodbye. Bye, guys. Get healthy as fast as you can. Bye.